Yeah. How many people are watching?
I have to assist her.
That's what we'll have to, Bailey's town.
Rebecca, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. I'd like to call back into session. Help me with this.
Are you back live on YouTube?
Yes. And Laura, you might just want to explain what
Yes.
happened.
Thank you.
You're gonna explain what happened, then re-fall to order, whatever time it is.
Thank you for your patience. We are going to end our recess that was mandated by lack of IT, that our recording stopped. So to keep our meetings open, we stopped our discussion. We're going to end our recess and call back into order the Moab the Moab Tourism Advisory Board meeting June 10th. Action item 8 is under discussion. It's 4:38 p.m. Thank you. Any other?
And just maybe reread the item.
Oh, thank
If
you.
somebody's not knowing where we're at.
We're looking to vote to revise the MTAB bylaws to reflect HB 456, including board representation to take effect July 1st, 2025. There we go. Go ahead, Howard.
Just to kind of cut through, we're going to procedure, and I'd like to make a proposal that we keep the chamber on as a liaison adjunct position and we move that vote to the Moab City.
Anybody have a second?
I'll second that. You get a lot of tax-paying members via the chamber.
Well, the chamber clearly provides a huge benefit, and having, especially you here,
Yeah, especially.
is huge. Not to take anything away from you, Cora. I know that you're transitioning to come in here too. So having that presence is critical. But given the fact that the city and the county are trying to work so closely together and need to pivot a vote, I think that that's a good direction and open for discussion. Sharon is second. We had a motion in the table.
Just to be clear, so where we're failing to comply is that we need an advisor from the municipality because of the 50% or more tax revenue.
Yeah, let me read through here. I wasn't really ready when I got called in. I thought we were talking about something
I
else.
apologize.
No, it's not your fault. I had an older agenda, and the agenda, there was something that was weird.
I apologize.
No, don't be sorry. So here, let me just read real quick what the requirements are, and maybe that'll help some clarity. A tourism tax advisory board shall be composed of the following members that are residents of the county. Majority of the members shall be current employees of entities in the county that are subject to the taxes, section 5912-301, which I think is the TRT, or 5912-603, which is the TRCCA. And 2, and it used to be the balance, but now it's going to be at least 2 members of the board. Membership shall be employees of recreational facilities, convention facilities, museum, cultural attractions, or other tourism related industries within the county. And then B, this is all new. A tourism tax advisory board may add additional members to the board, including board members who represent the interests of municipalities in the county. If a county generates 50% or more of the county's revenues generated by the imposition of a tax described in section 1A1 within the municipality in the county, the tourism tax advisory board for that county shall include a board member to represent the interests of the municipality.
Okay, so we're second on the floor.
Okay, sorry.
Discussion, go ahead.
I think the chamber at this moment, if you vote to not have the chamber be a voting member, there's gonna be quite a few businesses that on the optics of that aren't great. On the tail of reducing the chamber's summit budget and on the tail of not funding the economic development committee that worked really hard. I think from connecting to the economy, I know we've been really focused on pivoting towards making sure we're promoting tourism, which I totally agree with, or I wouldn't be here. But I think that if you vote right now to say the the chamber doesn't have a voting member anymore on this board, there's gonna be a lot of chamber members that see that as another reason that the commission, even though they're not even here, don't support the chamber. So I would caution against that as part of the discussion, and I think the 8-person thing, that I agree that the city and the county need to work together more, a lot more, and every board I'm on says that needs to happen. So I would want to provide an alternative motion that says an 8-person board is not that big a problem, and if and the chair can vote twice, or come up with a provision that allows you to break a tie if you have it. Howard?
Chamber's a 501c3. I was a board member, and I remember not having a political stance. The chamber quite clearly made a point that they didn't want to have a political stance. So this is a political appointment. So. Again, I just said the motion stated it was second. Can we vote?
You're gonna call for a vote?
I hate
Go
to be,
ahead. Please help.
sorry.
I
She
need
did- She did
point of
make a
order.
motion, and technically
make another
you're supposed to listen and wait for a second. If there is a second, and then there's discussion on that. And when she said, I think she meant to say that she was offering a substitute motion.
Sorry, thank you.
So we have a motion on the table, and
Correct,
so then Ashley was
She making a
proposing
substitute
a
motion.
substitute motion.
Correct, so she makes a substitute motion. At that
Okay.
point, the chair should pause and see if there's a second on that motion, then you enter deliberation. If there is a second on that motion, then you vote on the substitute motion. And if that succeeds, then that's it. If it fails, then you go back to the original motion.
So there is a substitute motion from Ashley
Correct.
to have an 8-member board. Is there a second?
So seeing none, then you.
Seeing
proceed
none,
with whatever you
then
guys
we'll
do.
proceed with the first motion and take a vote about having the city representative become a voting member. That was proposed by Howard and seconded by Sharon. Are we ready to vote?
Make a comment really fast.
Sure.
You know, I appreciate you guys doing this and, but I was, trying to make it work so that I do agree that the chamber, does provide something, for the business community, and there are a lot of people who are collecting this tax and stuff and that. Would there be any appetite to saying that, that it's an 8-person board, until, term limits are up, and then at that time, when that time it drops back down to a 7-person board, and just one person's term is not renewed.
Are you able to make that motion?
No, I'm just, but I can make a discussion point.
Okay,
I can't make the motion, but I think be part of the discussion, maybe I can.
Yeah, you can be part of the
Yeah.
discussion, that's part of the bylaws.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more information, no one's term ends at the end of this year. The next terms that end are, the chairs.
me
Yours ends at end of
and
20.
Rebecca, she and I are teammates.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out.
Ends when?
Next year,
Next year, not the end of this year. but the end.
December of 26.
Well, it gives us a chance to try an 8-person board. See what it'd be like.
I'm gonna call for a vote because we have 15 minutes to do 5 more items. All those in favor of the motion on the table proposed by Howard, seconded by Sharon, to have this be continue to be a 7-member voting board, say aye, raise your hand.
Can I just restate it? So your recommendation is to grant voting rights to him, so it's not just making it a 7-person board, but instead conferring voting rights to
Correct.
the city council member, and then exchanging those rights for the.
Do you want me to restate the entire motion to make it?
Yeah,
easier?
that'd be cleaner.
Okay.
I just.
So
Yeah,
as I understand it, Howard made a motion that has been seconded by Sharon to have this board retain a 7-member voting by exchanging the voting from the chamber to be granted to the city, but the chamber stays a liaison active member of the board. Is that the correct understanding that everybody has? Now I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
I,
One, two. Okay, so we've got Sharon, Rebecca, all those opposed. And you're a voting member, obviously. Okay, Alex, and, all right, the motion passes with opposition by Alex and Ashley,
5-2.
5-2. Thank you.
Can I just make a note really quickly, Stephen? If these are so just on what's next type
So
thing.
really, realistically, what you're going to do is based on that
Something that
information.
you write for us.
It's either gonna be, I mean, it's either gonna be admin's office is normally taking the lead on it, but it's going to be needed, you'll need to add it as an agenda item today.
For the commission.
So I'm probably gonna slip out and let them know, and then they'll need to amend the bylaws
Okay.
to make the change to it reflective with what you've said.
And
But we don't need to do that. We don't, as a board, we don't, you'll help us with that. Amending the bylaws.
I'd lean on
Thank you.
then to see if they'd assist with that.
and then it's called the so these are the bylaws, the Moab Area Tribal Council Advisory Board bylaws. Do we want and by any change that to be reflective of who we are now, or?
Yeah, if we're going in to make
If
it.
we're going in and making it,
To rename it would be.
is that something that I need to put on like as a motion right now?
It's not.
It's not an
properly
agenda item.
Stuff,
Okay,
but
yeah, that's right,
whenever,
it's not.
well, just noting for you, whenever the county does any changes to bylaws, when we previously were known as the commission was previously known as the Granite County Council.
Right.
We go through and change that to
Okay.
make it.
Okay,
So I'll
so
flip
since
out
they're
that
making the bylaw amendments, they can. You think?
Stephen,
Yeah.
consult on this.
But
Are we ready to move forward with the next agenda item?
Yeah,
Is
and
there
this
anything
has
we
to
did
go on
late
the
yet?
next, this has to go on the next commission agenda to meet the July.
to July
1st
first.
deadline. Because otherwise it's not, so you get July 7th, is it the 7th or 1st?
All right, we're gonna move on to item 9, discuss TRT latest.
So I think that we are, just hold on 1 second, Steve, I would say that we are technically compliant right now because we do have the liaison.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't know if there's a
But
rush
if
to make
the-
sure that's on the next agenda item.
I defer to the commission on what they want to do, but if the intent was to make sure that the city has a
Yeah.
voting position, then I think that they would want to do that as effectively and as quickly as possible.
I just don't understand why we were out of compliance,
We're going to, not now, right now, but we would.
but we already have a representative of the city. So, and it doesn't specify whether it's voting or non-voting, so.
Well, it also says that there's a difference between member and liaison, right?
So, but you just said that doesn't have to be a voting member.
We have different positions.
Okay.
The city has a different position than the county, but based on this vote, they would like us to make the change to add, your guys' recommendation is to add them as a voting member. So that's
And so
what,
we'll approve Jason as the voting member and then try to rewrite the bylaws. For this next commission.
Honestly, it seems
Yeah.
like the bylaw should be rewritten and presented to this board before we voted on any of this. I think that this is really, if you have a bylaw change, should be voting on the bylaw change, not voting on the mechanics and then backing into the bylaws, but. Whatever.
I love the recommendations of the county attorney. I know you can't recommend policy, but if we have procedural issues that we need to work out, please let me know. That would be amazing.
sure, and
Trying to just comply with what the state of Utah said for July 1st. I realize it doesn't say the law. We're just trying to, in good faith, join the county and the city in to play nice together.
yeah, I think in this context, it's going to be a relatively simple change, so. I'll let them know that we want that on the agenda.
I guess we'll cancel that knife fight tonight.
I think it precludes the knife fight. I think you can still have the knife fight. Friendly knife fight doesn't hurt anything.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, we're gonna move to item 9, discuss TRT latest objections with implementation of HB 456, review fund balances and tourism tax expenditure reports. Here we go. Go ahead.
So, again, this Howard was requesting some of this. Now, there's a lot of stuff here that is for review, and this is again for review. I think there's a lot here that I haven't, but it came in yesterday, so I wasn't had time to go through it, but I did have some of the numbers don't match with what's reconciled with the state. And so I do have I would like to sit down to discuss with you and maybe Gabe at some point. Particularly, I don't know if we can go back to the sales tax one, because if we're gonna be using sales tax as a measurement, the numbers that are in these sales tax numbers do not reconcile at all with what's with the Utah State Tax Commission. So I just wanna.
It may be that he had asked to move the tax to the month it was
Normalized.
earned, not collected.
I get that, but I'm looking at the like the totals that you've provided don't match the totals that are with the state, and so I just want to make sure that if whatever numbers we're providing are the right numbers.
So I can appreciate that, because I just, it was a crash course of
Yeah,
24 hours to put this together, so.
No
it's always
worries.
helpful to look
Yeah.
down and check numbers and all of that.
And I-
Because some of them are a lot lower
I think
than
different numbers as well, going through the financials.
Like
So I went
off
through-
by like $1
yeah.
million.
Yeah, $1 million off on that. Going
Yeah,
through
the
Financials, I'm looking at the financial accounts.
if you just go by base sales tax, the number from the state for 2023 was 2.8 million, and the numbers here is 1.6. With the state, it's 2.9 for 2024, it's 1.53 here, and that's just the base sales tax, but then you've got like restaurant tax, which was actually up last year. You've got OHB tax, which was down 44.3%. You've got the vehicle short term, Jason, yours, those were down 17.8%. So just understanding what that tax looks like, or that sales tax, because it doesn't seem to include, I don't know, I'm not sure what it's including. So just to understand what that number is, so that we're all working from the same page, that would be great. So before going into all these things, I don't know how I want to go into some of them. Yeah.
Where are your numbers?
From the Utah State Tax Commission, they publish the monthly numbers.
Okay.
And they're different than the numbers that are here. And so,
Where are your numbers?
Same thing.
Oh, good.
And then I
So
got my
there's a
numbers right from
transition
the
there or
financials,
something.
and my numbers matched,
Okay.
just what he was just saying right there.
what's that?
But it's funny, you were going through, because I actually got my numbers from the financial reports,
Okay, yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
2023, and then they were matching right with what you were saying.
So I mean, that's what
Because the
exercise
TRT number,
is,
the
to get
TRT
on the
numbers
same-
are off as well, like the
This
TRT.
exercise is to get on the same page.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
How the board would like to coordinate that, but that's why we presented this. So if that's a meeting between Wendell and Steven, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To just get the number and then report on it.
Yeah.
We're gold.
But I
Do you
was
have
even
the
worried
bandwidth
about
to be part of that?
Yeah. Yeah,
moving our
absolutely.
numbers back 2 months, that's gonna take our annual balances off.
That's included. Like I
Yeah.
said, just get to a number that we agree on and then we can start measuring it.
Yeah.
So I believe that the goal here is to provide the board with the most current information of funds, and
Since we
once
don't
again-
meet next week as well, and not
Yes, next
and
month.
so, yeah.
So if we can have Stephen, Mr. Bowles rather, and Wendell maybe confer anybody else that wants to participate as far as what those numbers are composed of. The goal, okay, great. The goal is to have accuracy and transparency. And so if we can have maybe like a little sidebar subcommittee in the next month.
Yeah.
To get there for August.
Great.
Yeah, and I will also throw out, since a spreadsheet comes from you, a spreadsheet comes from someone else, I'm filling all these.
Pull them all
out,
together.
a transposition error on one of them. If anything, we have one
Yeah.
worksheet that everybody
Perfect.
can go to, and it comes straight.
You can just drop it in from then on, so then, yeah, perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna move to item 10. That's our plan.
Yeah.
Just moving forward to get accuracy, and I thank you all for collaborating with us. Number 10, transient room tax application process for 2026, review and possible approval of formal application process. We have been asked to have a more trackable way of, I think this is for the grants and distribution.
This is-
I'm gonna have you take over, because
Well,
you made the form.
From our meeting with the goals,
Yeah.
Alex, this was one of your things in particular, like you
Great.
wanted to have a more formal process for people requesting TRT, whether it be for mitigation or for promotion, a more formal process.
Yeah.
More for mitigation, but now that with HB 456, a lot of those things kind of fall under the same bucket, and so this was just a first stab at putting something together that's a bit more formal with what they're applying for, and then the definitions from HB 456 and that, and then kind of basically how much they're requesting if they previously got TRT funds, and then basically explaining how they're gonna use it. So this is just put it together for discussion, and if this is something, Alex, you were thinking about, or if you have something completely different, just go for your life and let me know what your thoughts were in the process of the whole board. This is what the goal was, I think, because I wasn't around and I don't know how the previously you guys, doled out money to people asking for it. And this was, I think Alex wanted a bit more formal process.
Yeah.
And this is hats off to Wendell for making a stab at first effort. So any discussion, if we can do that quickly, that would be amazing. Anybody have?
I looked through, I thought it was fantastic. I would just say we should consider where we would want to have this timeline kind of in, and how we want to make sure that we advertise it, or make sure that departments know about it.
Who
Or the
goes to?
people, who it goes to, and kind of where we need to make sure that we're gonna have this ready for when you guys go into budget season.
And maybe
I think
submit it
we-
for legal review,
Yeah,
because,
oh, absolutely.
you know, it's just a
I
stab.
think it would be very helpful.
Is this just the general funding from the TRT, or is this a special fund that will be created once the law takes effect?
This will be for next year's, for your
Okay.
guys' recommendation letter. So when you guys put your recommendation letter together, you'll go through and you can say, okay, we have these people applying for 3A right here, and you can make your decisions based off that.
If the
You
MIC
could
needs
go
to
in and
replace
go
that.
to your 3B right here and say, well, these are the people that fit inside of here. And then you'll have reasoning right there from the actual departments. So everybody kind of has the chance
Trail.
to make their case. So it's not just you going, oh, I really like, so and so let's make sure that they have this much money, or, there's just, I think it's a better process
I
altogether.
know a lot of people like the museum are worried, and they would love the chance to plead their case of why they want money. So that's, there's, they want to make sure people are worried, and some people want to make sure EMS and search and rescue and all these people, get the money that they deserve. And this is just up for discussion. However you guys want to do it. I just thought I'd put something together so that it was a bit more formal, and that's what.
Do we want to vote to implement? Do we want to maybe just have this as a future item to massage? And I would entertain.
I say let's move it to another agenda.
Okay.
Future agenda item.
I mean, I would recommend that you guys do figure out your timeline. Of
Okay.
when you want to have basically, if you want to work backwards and start, hey, we want to have our recommendation letter done by this date. Right, you might want to work back and say, okay, then we want to make sure that we have all the applications, in by this date, and then you might want to work back on that calendar and say, well, we want to let everybody have so much time to get this in. And so that's when you have this thing ready to go.
I would
We
suggest October, because that's budget season. If we can have a form like this that is in place so that people can request some of those for 2026 budget by October.
So
like
like
that.
decisions made by October 1st? Or
Anybody have any other
You gotta go-
line ideas?
It's gotta be earlier than that.
Moving to August.
Yeah.
They start
Okay.
asking us to do the budget.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an application. It can be, we decide the process, whatever that process is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just a reminder, the strategy committee put together a document, and I think on that document says that you plan to start drafting that letter in August. So.
August.
Definitely.
You said
Yeah.
in your strategy
Oh, that's
committee, you decided August would be a good time to start with this process. Shall we revisit this in the August agenda?
Just a quick question as
Yeah.
far as the event grants go, when people are
August
applying,
gonna be too late
is
for
that
you
something
guys
you
to
need to get out
review this
now?
and then get this out to
It's part of
everybody.
that consideration, isn't it? The use of
Maybe not.
monies. So the grant process that we approve,
I think that's a separate topic, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
that should be, because that's kind of coming up too. just-
Exactly, yes, exactly. All right, so what you're telling me as far as timeline goes, we don't have a meeting in July, so we need to approve this form
I'm just saying, yeah.
or approve the process. Okay, I'd entertain a motion. Because we're 2 minutes over and I don't want anybody throwing things at me.
No, I think aren't we guys gonna talk about it in August? And then
So what more do we need to talk about in August? Why
I
can't
don't
we just
know.
approve it?
everyone was still talking about it. So in the order of time, I said, let's move it to August.
Yeah,
Doesn't seem like y'all have an issue with this. You should pass it now. So
yeah, that's what I'm,
All right, I would entertain a motion.
then
Love
I
it.
make a motion that we approve the Grant County, Utah, funding application
Pending legal review.
pending legal review.
Excellent. Alex has
Howard
Made-
seconds.
the motion, Howard seconds. If there's no further discussion, all those who vote to adopt this and move forward, say aye.
I,
Awesome, unanimous.
And then we'll talk to Stephen or whoever about how we get this out to the right people and advertise that it's.
Within the county function, I mean, it's not a public thing, it's just within the county, so
Yeah.
the title could maybe be a little clearer as.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, moving on to number 10, transient room tap. Wait a minute, I just did that, sorry, 11. Okay, discuss market data included in Moab Office of Tourism Symphony Dashboard Potential Subcommittee to review accuracy, best uses and reporting.
Bingo fast. This is ties back to 9. Unnormalized data and a bad data feed, put a dashboard out. And people caught errors and so it'll be down before we put it back up. We want to have more than just our office say, put it back up.
Do you want to have somebody work with you to go through all the data and
Yeah, we want to, just like what you just did with Stephen, if we did that with our dashboard.
somebody want to do? Somebody-
Do we have any volunteers that want to be part of this subcommittee? I would like to ask Ben and team that vis-a-vis that we have are paying money for. I know that it breaks it down like hotel, restaurant, transportation. Can you tell us what our customer looks like in the last 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? Like right now, can you tell me?
Like off top of my head, right, you can look and it's gonna tell, what we'll use that for is international versus domestic. It won't
Right.
Tell you. But that's why that data feed is, and
But
that's.
I
the
would
one
love
that's
to know that in
and
this
that-
meeting.
That's lagging, and I think that's where, we just wanna make sure everyone agrees on what it's showing before it goes up, not.
I would love to know that this week. To Ashley's point, talking about international visitors repeatedly. When I walk through City Market, I hear 17 different languages. I don't feel flocks of international, but
I think Carol just.
wait, I'm not ready for that yet. I would like to know this week from Moab Office of Tourism. I understand you can't share this publicly, so I didn't ask for this to be an item attached to the agenda. But I want to know what is in Moab the last 6 months, international versus domestic, and what cities they're coming from. Is there anyone else interested in that data?
Well, that's not gonna tell us what cities, I don't think, but.
Okay.
We can go look at it.
Awesome. If we can look at that by Friday, that would be amazing. All right, who would like to be part of the drill down of a subcommittee looking at data dashboard stuff? Anybody? Howard? Okay. Anybody else? No? Yes, no.
Wendell, were you on that already?
What's that? No, that's he can do like I'm doing with Stephen, maybe with the.
Oh, got it.
Sure.
Okay. So do you want to get together with Ben and discuss that? All right, moving forward. You want to be,
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to be, I just don't want to overlook your hand.
That's fine. Yeah, I can help out.
Okay, got Howard and Alex on that one, working with Ben. All right, moving on to item 12.
You can scratch that.
Okay, item 12, we're deleting that item right now. Moving on to item 13. Discover Moab website is live today.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Looking at it again last night, I have, please, please, can we replace the ATV photo from 1892? I have several that I will send you. I put them together today.
Send us photos,
It
send us
doesn't-
videos, whatever. you
Okay,
have.
doesn't mean you have to use mine, but I'm trying to find non-branded, just very generic type photos that you can put on. But thank you for getting that live. Do we have any other, everybody should be able to not even need the beta link. You can actually look at it.
Yep.
All right, last item going here, item 14, discuss and approve Contour Airlines marketing billboard at the airport. Howard, take it from there.
This is because Contour still has $25,000 on offer to the county to use, and I would like us to really take that. they want to use the billboard right away. That is a hard cost of just over $2,000. And I think that can happen quite quickly, a little coordination between the Office of Tourism and the airport director. And really the messaging is flights to Denver and Phoenix. A lot of discussions about Contour as an airline, and the airport director really mentioned, as he said, you know, it's the only air service you've got, you should promote it.
Yeah.
So the goal is hopefully that they grow and organically can offer some more flights.
Yeah, just two quick things on that. You know, I did look through Madden's media plan right there, and they did have that match right there, it looked like
Yeah.
for what you were just
But we
talking
didn't
about.
vote for the match. We've just got 25,000, not 50.
They're offering.
No, there's 50 on.
That's
the-
Contour's offering 25,000.
Yeah, so it looked like it was included on the media plan, right?
Great.
Kind of voted for it. And then number two, I would suggest, you know, that the airport utilizes the Moab Office of Tourism to do their marketing. You know, I mean, just like we just saw with the OSTA right there trying to go off and do their own thing, I think that they would be well served using the Moab Office of Tourism
And I think,
to.
yeah, I think we tried to push that last time with
Yeah.
the airport board.
Mhm.
When we got together, Alex and I were like, why are we doing this? Let's put it to the off the tourism.
Is that another one, Brian, that has to go to the commission?
I'll make a motion.
No, that's already in your media plan.
It's already.
Yeah,
It'll be
But I
approved.
mean, but to have us to there and.
Nope.
Okay, because it's a special service district, right?
No,
No,
Okay.
no, it's the counties.
So it's already in the budget.
Yeah.
We don't need to
So I think we're good.
present it to the commission. They can just move forward in the Moab
Yeah,
Office of Tourism.
Yeah.
So
Have 2 seconds.
do we need a motion on this? It looks like it's already moving forward. I think,
I just want to make sure that the county accepts this gracious offer of $25,000 from Contour to help support any marketing efforts for Contour and the airport.
yeah.
Do you want to make a motion to recommend and we'll try to get it onto the.
Yeah, and one of the things that was always a hang is. And if you're on there and you could answer the questions, we would ask Contour, what are you trying to accomplish? So it sounds like you're getting farther down that road with an answer, so.
They worked, I mean, it was when the last airline was launched, the office did work with United to kind of.
No, I know, we worked with Contour a year ago and we were like, what, tell us what you're trying. I can show that. No, yeah, so it's like, where do you want to take it? Are you trying to do in market, out? So, yes, you can answer, well, or.
I think Contour gave us the 25,000 and said, you guys use this money how you see fit to promote our airline and stuff. They were like, we don't have the staff to do that. We're giving it to you to come up with a plan.
Which these guys did on.
hopefully Madden can help. Mick has a
Just really
comment.
quick, we did work with Contour in the
Mhm.
winter and did a promotion. This board voted to in the previous meeting to not contribute funds, but to help them with spending that 25,000. But now it looks like it's in the media plan. So I think our team, with Moab Office of Tourism, connect with Madden, and we'll connect with Contour to see, you know, what their numbers, where they want to place ads, this sort of thing, and Madden will come up with an appropriate approach to spending that additional funding.
Is there a motion to use that billboard at the airport for Contour money, maybe? Did you want to make, I mean, that was,
I'll make a motion just to be safe.
go ahead, make the motion.
The funding to support the billboard for Contour Airlines at Kanyama's Regional Airport.
Out of that $25,000.
$25,000 off.
Is there a second? Okay. Howard, call for a vote to use the billboard at the airport out of the Contour Airline 25,000, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. And then, we now have 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes for the director's report for as long as you can stay. We would love to hear what you have to say.
think I did that when we went around.
Okay, then thank you to all of you for getting through all the items. It's 5:11. We're gonna adjourn this meeting until August unless we hear otherwise. Good day.
Thanks, Lauren.
Welcome. Okay.
Right, yeah.
I think